The war in Ukraine has entered a new, more intense phase. For months, Ukrainian forces have bravely defended their homeland against overwhelming Russian aggression, showing resilience and determination. But now, the tide seems to be turning in favor of Ukraine. Ukraine has launched a series of bold counter-offensives, pushing back Russian forces and liberating key territories that were once under occupation. But one development has sent shockwaves through the Kremlin and raised the stakes of the conflict significantly: Ukraine's use of US-supplied ATACMS missiles to strike deep inside Russian territory. These are not merely symbolic strikes meant to send a message. Ukrainian forces have strategically targeted key military infrastructure, including air bases and logistics hubs, far beyond the front lines, disrupting Russian supply chains and command centers. The attacks are a testament to Ukraine's growing military capabilities and its unwavering determination to take the fight directly to the aggressor. The world watches with bated breath, wondering how Russian President Vladimir Putin will respond to this audacious and unexpected challenge. The strikes have exposed the vulnerabilities of the Russian military and shattered the illusion of Putin's so-called special military operation, revealing cracks in their strategy. They have also ignited a fierce debate in the West about the wisdom and potential consequences of supplying Ukraine with such advanced weaponry. Some fear that these long-range missiles could provoke a dangerous escalation from Russia, potentially drawing NATO into a direct conflict, while others argue it is a necessary step to ensure Ukraine's sovereignty and security. How do you think this strategic shift will affect the conflict between Russia and Ukraine? Is it a change in the balance of power, or too little too late? Write your thoughts in the comments section. The US decision to provide Ukraine with ATACMS missiles was a watershed moment in the conflict, marking a significant escalation in the level of support provided to Ukraine. These long-range, precision-guided missiles have given Ukraine an unprecedented capability to strike high-value targets deep inside Russian territory, targets that were previously considered untouchable. Prior to receiving ATACMS, Ukraine relied heavily on shorter-range artillery and drones, which limited its ability to disrupt Russian supply lines and command centers. This reliance often left Ukrainian forces vulnerable to counterattacks and restricted their operational reach. The arrival of ATACMS has shifted the balance of power on the battlefield, providing Ukraine with a strategic edge that has been crucial in recent engagements. Ukrainian forces now have the ability to strike Russian targets that were previously out of reach, forcing the Russian military to disperse its forces and adapt its tactics. This has created new challenges for Russian commanders, who must now contend with a more unpredictable and capable adversary. This has slowed the Russian advance and given Ukraine a crucial advantage in the fight for its survival. The ability to target key logistical hubs and command centers has disrupted Russian operations and provided breathing room for Ukrainian forces. The impact of ATACMS extends beyond the immediate military gains. It has also altered the strategic calculations of both sides, influencing the broader dynamics of the conflict. These strikes have delivered a powerful psychological blow to Russia, undermining its sense of security and exposing the limitations of its air defenses. The realization that their territory is vulnerable has forced Russian leaders to reconsider their strategies. The strikes have also bolstered Ukrainian morale, demonstrating the unwavering support of its Western allies and fueling the belief that victory is possible. This renewed sense of hope and determination has been a vital component in Ukraine's ongoing resistance. The Kremlin's response to the Ukrainian strikes has been a mix of bluster and caution. Putin has condemned the attacks as terrorist acts and vowed to retaliate. However, his response has so far been measured, focusing on symbolic targets in Ukrainian cities rather than a full-scale escalation. This suggests that Putin is acutely aware of the risks of further antagonizing the West and potentially triggering a wider conflict. Putin's next move remains uncertain and unpredictable. He's facing mounting pressure from hardliners within Russia to respond more forcefully to Ukraine's counteroffensive. He has also sought to raise the stakes by issuing veiled threats about Russia's nuclear arsenal, updating its nuclear doctrine to lower the threshold for their use. This dangerous rhetoric is intended to deter further Western support for Ukraine and sow fear among NATO members. However, it also carries the risk of miscalculation, potentially leading to a catastrophic escalation. The world watches anxiously, hoping that cooler heads will prevail. The Ukrainian strikes have presented NATO with a delicate dilemma, one that requires careful navigation and strategic foresight. On the one hand, the alliance is committed to supporting Ukraine's right to defend itself and deter further Russian aggression, a stance that aligns with NATO's core principles of collective defense and sovereignty. On the other hand, NATO members are wary of being drawn into a direct conflict with Russia, which could have disastrous consequences not just for the region but for global stability as well. This has led to a cautious approach, with NATO providing significant military aid to Ukraine but stopping short of deploying troops or establishing a no-fly zone, measures that could escalate the situation uncontrollably. The recent escalation has intensified the debate within NATO about the level of support for Ukraine, with each member state weighing the risks and benefits of increased involvement. Some member states, particularly those bordering Russia, are calling for more decisive action, including the provision of fighter jets and advanced air defense systems, arguing that stronger support could turn the tide in Ukraine's favor. Others, however, remain hesitant, fearing that providing Ukraine with more offensive weaponry could provoke a dangerous escalation from Moscow, potentially leading to a broader conflict. NATO's response will be crucial in shaping the trajectory of the conflict, determining whether it escalates or moves towards resolution. A united and resolute alliance could deter further Russian aggression and pave the way for a negotiated settlement, offering a glimmer of hope for peace. However, divisions within NATO could embolden Putin and prolong the conflict, with devastating consequences for Ukraine and the wider world, making the need for a cohesive strategy more urgent than ever. Please share this video with those who need to know, like our content for more on this topic, and subscribe to Tab Media for timely updates as this situation develops. Thank you for watching.